Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily and I like to do DIY on a budget. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would consider doing so. Today I'm participating in a playlist that's hosted by Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs for her Try It Tuesday. I'll get a little bit more into that in a minute, but let's get started. So my first project for Try It Tuesday comes from Jamie at Simple Roots Simple Living. She makes the most amazing DIYs. You guys definitely need to check her out, and I will for sure put a link to her channel and also to the video that I got the inspiration from there as well. So she made this darling little egg basket, and I had the things in my stash already to go ahead and try this. So she had a Thrifted stand that she found, but I had one from Dollar Tree, just one of their candlestick risers. So I went ahead and used some super glue because I could not find my E6000 anywhere. I think my husband might have stolen it. So I just used some of the gel super glue. I put it on the bottom of the basket, and then after I pushed the basket down, I did need to go in and put a little bit more surrounding the wire where it meets the ceramic base. I also did use a teeny bit of hot glue to help give it a little bit of a short-term hold. Then I just took it outside and sprayed it with a little bit of matte black spray paint. So this is exactly how Jamie did it. She sprayed the whole thing with it and then turned it upside down and sprayed it so that way there were no little gold surprises anywhere, I think is how she said it, which I couldn't have said it better myself because I hate that when you get your project inside and it's showing there. So I hope you guys definitely go check out Jamie's channel and also find her on Instagram. Like I said earlier, she makes the most amazing DIYs. They're so cute, they're so simple to follow, and she has the best ideas. So again, I will just link her channel and the video that I got the inspiration from down in my description box. After this dried from using the spray paint, what we're going to do is we're going to take it and put a little bit of white on the basket part here. And she had this brilliant idea of using a makeup sponge with a clothespin to dab it all on there. And I absolutely loved this idea, and this will be something that I will forever do. So I'm just using some white chalk paint. I think it's the color Plaster. And I'm just going to go ahead and pounce this all over the basket. I'm fine that some of the black shows through. You definitely want it to be rustic, looking aged. So I'm just going to go over the entire basket, giving it the majority of coverage with the white. But again, I'm not going to worry about spots where the black is showing through. Now, in Jamie's DIY, she points out that pouncing the makeup sponge on her base did not give the type of coverage that she wanted. Instead of pouncing on the base, I just went ahead and smeared the chalk paint on. It did take several layers, so definitely a paintbrush might be something that you would want to use. Now we're going to create a faux rust to kind of make this look aged and old, like it's been sitting out in somebody's barn for generations. So you're going to mix a burgundy, a brown, and an orange. These are just the Waverly chalk paint colors. I believe it's Merlot, Truffle, and then their pumpkin. And then I also just used some apple barrel yellow color. I can't remember the name of it. I like to use just a teensy bit of yellow to give it a little bit more of a realistic look when I do rust. So you mix the three main colors together to kind of make your base rust color, and then just randomly pick spots that you're going to put this on. And then as that dries, I go back in and will dip the sponge in a little bit of the orange and a little bit of the yellow, and I will kind of dab it on my little surface or plate to kind of get the excess off. And then you just kind of go through and layer it on each of the rust spots to kind of give it that little textured feel and look. I have also done a technique where you mix a little bit of baking soda in with the base color to give it a little bit more of a raised surface. That's kind of a fun look to do also. So for the rest on the base, I'm just going to take a paintbrush. I feel like I have a little bit more control with that. And I'm just going to do the same process I did on the basket, just using the paintbrush to pounce on the rust. The nice thing is if you feel like you got a little bit too much rust on, just let it dry, paint over it with the white, and start over. It's actually very forgiving to do this process. Okay, here's the end product. What do you guys think? Does mine look like Jamie's looked? Hopefully you think so. You can kind of see up close the rust, how realistic that does look. I'm so excited to use this in my decor. I'm so happy that I saw her try this and that I was able to recreate it. So again, I'm just going to leave a link to Simple Roots, Simple Living, to Jamie's channel down below. Make sure you check her out. And also in the comments, let me know if you think I did a good job recreating this. As I mentioned earlier, today's video is part of the Try It Tuesday playlist that is hosted by Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs, and this month is co-hosted by Angie, who is the redheaded scrapper. We are supposed to find at least 3 DIYs from other YouTubers that we wish to create, and then we go ahead and follow their instructions to create that item. I will make sure and leave a link to the Try It Tuesday playlist down in my description box so you can check out all of the awesome things that everybody else has made. I'm also going to leave a link to Sammy's channel, Unicorn Dust Designs, and to Angie's channel, The Redheaded Scrapper. So make sure you go subscribe to both of them and check out their channels also. This inspired item comes from Savannah from Savvy Crafts with Savannah. And again, I'm going to link her channel and her video down in the description box. But she made this over for her Thrifty Thursday challenge that she did a month or two back. And when I saw her do this, I was like immediately taken back to sitting in my grandparents' kitchen because they had one of these little letter holders. And so I thought, oh my goodness, that is so fun. And then I found one at the thrift store the next time I went. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a try. So I'm going to go ahead and sand off these letters. I'm just going to use an emery board to do that. And then obviously I forgot down on the bottom, so I'm just going to take, the paint still a little bit wet, so I'm just going to take a baby wipe and wipe that off and then just sand that off, makes it a little bit easier. I also undid the hooks. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back and put the hooks on. I thought it might be kind of fun to hang a little beaded garland from, or like an old-fashioned skeleton key or something like that. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to put the hooks on, so I just left them off for now. When Savannah made this, she happened to mention that there were a lot of awkward nooks and crannies with this item, and she was not kidding. So it is very awkward to kind of get down in between. You can see how those top 2 little holders are so close together. So it was a little bit awkward getting down into there. So if you do happen to find one of these at the thrift store, which the day that I picked this up, there was 3 at my thrift store. So I know they're out there. Some spray paint might be an option to also get a little bit of coverage. So I just go ahead and give this about 3 coats of chalk paint, just enough to get the coverage that you want on it. I think I went ahead and it was about 3 coats that I ended up giving it. So now it's completely covered in the chalk paint. I'm going to take some antiquing wax and distress it. So I'm just using my chip brush to do that. I just dip the chip brush into the antiquing wax, kind of dab it off on a plate or surface or somewhere, cloth, get a little bit of that excess off, and then I'm going to go ahead and just lightly brush it on. Then I'm going to take a brush that has the original base color on and kind of go over to soften that. So I'm going to leave a link to Savannah's YouTube channel, Savvy Crafts with Savannah, and also a link to the video where she redoes this letter holder. So definitely go check her out, subscribe to her channel. You are not going to be disappointed. She is so talented, and she is literally one of the sweetest people out there. So on this distressing process, I don't think I'm letting it dry enough between coats because it starts to get a little bit muddled together, I think would be a term that I would use. I don't know. So I'm going back and forth with the antiquing wax, and then I go back with the brush that has the original base color on it. And as you can see, it starts to get a little bit, you start to lose that distressing. It starts to look dirty and kind of, I don't know what the correct term is, but Savannah, I promise I'm not ruining this. I'm going to fix it if you're watching. I promise that I make it okay in the end. So I do end up having to take a baby wipe and wipe that top one off because I felt like there was, the more I kept going over it with the brush, the worse it just kept getting. So, but this just goes to show it's pretty forgiving. So I go ahead and fix it. I paint a little bit more of the white on. I let that dry, and then I let it dry enough in between each coat that I do. So I don't know if I was just using too much on my brush or if I just wasn't letting it dry, or it was a combination of both. But I did go back in. It does look okay. You'll have to let me know what you think if it looks okay. So, and then I just continue on antiquing the rest with the antiquing wax, and I don't end up sanding anything or using any other colors to distress. I just only use the antiquing wax. Okay, so you guys, I do go back in. I feel like this time it looks much better with the distressing. I'm taking my time. I've made sure I have dabbed all of my excess wax off, everything like that. So I'm happy with how it looks. So Savannah had styled hers with some florals and like a little beaded garland, and I absolutely loved how she had it styled. So I went ahead and styled it with some of the Dollar Tree florals that I had. I had a few little succulents I sticked, oh my gosh, you guys, I stuck in the top. So I do that, and then I loved how she had the beaded garland, so I went ahead and used that along with the florals to style it. I thought it looked super cute. I'm so excited to hang this in my kitchen. It is so nostalgic for me. Hopefully you guys can find one of these and you can do the same thing, 'cause I think this turned out absolutely cute and darling. It might be kind of fun to even put like basil and thyme or something, you know, paint those on the front and put those little artificial plants in it or something. There's so many possibilities with this. So let me know if you think that I did an okay job. And Savannah, if you're watching, hopefully I did you proud and you like it. And then also let me know if you think I should put the hooks back on and hang like some fun old-fashioned keys or something from it. But hopefully you guys like what I did with this one. And I'm going to leave a link to Savannah's channel again down in the description box, so check her out. I would love so much to be friends on Instagram. If you haven't already found me, come say hi. I'm just Farm Charm Chic over there. You can see all of the fun things that I like to post on my page here, and hopefully you'll be able to look through it and get some inspiration. My last project comes inspired by Natalie at Design to the Nines, and guys, she is amazing. She is so talented and has so much awesome experience, but I'm going to make this Gothic window that she did in one of her videos. So she leaves a template that you can have printed out, and she gives you all the instructions on how to send that over to Staples to have them printed out. So I did that. And then I used a little bit of the spray adhesive glue to get it to stick down. I went to Home Depot and purchased one of their MDF boards. So you do need some power tools for this one. We're redoing our bathroom, and so my husband bought a jigsaw, and so I thought, oh my gosh, I can actually make one of these windows now. So I'm going to drill a couple pilot holes so my jigsaw saw will be able to fit through there, and then you have to clamp this down really good so it's not going to move, and then you stick your jigsaw in, and you just, it's kind of like almost like dot to dot type thing, like you just follow the lines with your blade. And the jigsaw is super easy. Go watch Natalie's channel. She shows you how simple it is to use and how not to be afraid of them. And guys, this was so fun. This was the first time I'd ever used the jigsaw. So this is totally an easy beginner project. And it was the first time I'd ever really used, I mean, I'd used a drill before, but that's it. So super fun, and it was super easy. And I would say that this took me maybe an hour and a half to cut out, maybe not even quite that much. And then it actually took longer to paint it and distress it than it did to cut it out. So you just have to be really delicate going into these little teeny cuts in here. And one thing I noticed really quick off was that it was not, some of my lines were a little bit wonky, and some of them you have a little bit of give that you can go in and kind of fix with your saw. But I learned really quick that it's okay that they're wonky, because it honestly looks like it is a true window that was carved out of wood. So you can just kind of see that I go in, I've just got a little bit left to cut out, and then I go ahead and cut out the edge all the way around. The paper just kind of peeled off for me. I know Natalie had said that sometimes you can get like a little wet sponge to kind of help it come off, or you could just turn it over and have that be the back. So I'm going to leave a link to this video of Natalie's and her YouTube channel down in my description box. She is so talented. She has some of the most amazing projects. She does a combination of Dollar Tree and budget items, as well as using power tools. She is so awesome. So you definitely, if you're not already subscribed to her, you need to go do that, because she is so amazing. And not only that, but she's absolutely darling and has the cutest personality too. So, and she's taught me to not be afraid of power tools. So I have an electric sander that I'm going to go through, and this is where it really kind of came to life for me. And you can see that I left some of my paper on the back of it. So, but the reason it came to life with this is because this is where you soften all your edges. So you definitely can't skip this part. You go through with the sander and get all the edges kind of a little bit more of a rounded look and kind of make it all a little bit softer. So, and then I'm using a little ledge to make at the end. I just bought like a little, I don't even know what size of board it was. I just looked for whatever size that looked like it would make a good ledge at the hardware store. And I mean, it was only like a couple of bucks. And she had a trim that she put in her, she called it trellis molding. So this was, I bought some of this stuff. I couldn't find trellis molding. Nobody around my town or my state knew at all what that was. And I feel like I've seen it before, but I just didn't know how to describe it. But what I bought did not work. It was something that you would fix like patio chair furniture with. So I ended up not putting an edge on it, but I'm doing the ledge right here. And so I didn't put the trim on it, but I'm putting the ledge on it. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm using a little bit of wood glue and clamping that on, and then I do go in with my staple gun, and I did staple a couple staples in just while the nail glue dried. And then I'm going to go ahead and I paint it with my chalk paint and give it a really good coat. Takes a couple of coats to do that, and then I'm going to go in and de-stress it. It does take a little bit of time to paint this just because of the delicate little cutouts that you have there, and all, because you want to get all the sides, so if you're looking at it, you know, from all the different angles, you don't see any of the exposed MDF. So it, like I said, I think it took me longer to paint this than it did to actually cut it out. After the paint dries and I have as many coats as I want on it, I go ahead and take some sandpaper and rough the paint up all over the edges, kind of start giving it a really distressed look. And then once I'm done sanding it with the sandpaper, I go in with a baby wipe and just wipe it off really good. And then I go in with some elephant chalk paint and a chip brush and just go through and distress it as much as I want. To give it, I wanted it to look really, really old, so I distress it quite a bit. Okay, here's up close to look at all the distressing and how the window turned out. I love the little wonky lines in there. I think they turned out so good. It just makes it look like it was totally carved out of wood. My mom saw this and absolutely fell in love. She wants me to make her one for Mother's Day. I've had so many good compliments on it. I do want to say thank you to Natalie for making me feel powerful and giving me the courage to use power tools to make something like this, because it was so much fun and I'm so happy with it. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to the video where Natalie creates this and her channel down in my description box, so definitely go check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I had so much fun creating these items for the Try It Tuesday playlist. I want to thank Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs for making this playlist, and also Angie from the Redheaded Scrapper for being the co-host this month. I will have a link to their channels down in my description box, as well as the playlist and everybody else's channels who I gained inspiration from today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and definitely check out that playlist, and you guys have an amazing day. Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, here's another one that you might enjoy.